I was cast aside by my family because of my sister's shining achievements, but now she's pleading for my help as their business crumbles. Hello, Reddit. I'm a 32-year-old woman, never expecting to pour my heart out online. Yet here I am. My life was turned upside down in ways I couldn't have foreseen. My parents kicked me out of our home. Why? Because I funded my MBA without their help, and my sister, 36, the family's golden star, couldn't stand it. It's a long story, but I'm hoping for your advice or maybe just a virtual shoulder to lean on. Let me paint a picture of my family dynamics. I've always been the overlooked one, the odd one out, never quite measuring up. Growing up in a quiet suburb near Chicago, my parents would throw a celebration for my sister's every A grade. While my own A's barely earned a what's for dinner, you get the idea. My sister, Sarah, was always a star, effortlessly excelling, charming, and beautiful. She led school plays, captained sports teams, and aced her grades. I was a quiet, bookish one, happier coding in my room than chasing the spotlight. My parents saw Sarah as a prodigy, funding her prestigious business school, stylish wardrobe, upscale apartment, and even spring break trips to Cancun. They bragged about her to anyone who'd listen. Meanwhile, I kept my head down, knowing I'd have to fend for myself. Despite juggling loans and part-time jobs through college, I graduated with honors in computer science. Did I get a party? No. My mom just said, "That's nice, dear. Have you seen Sarah's graduation photos? Wasn't she stunning?" Now, I've been managing projects at a tech company for years. It's decent work, but I want more. Maybe start my own business, climb the corporate ladder, or reach senior management. So, I applied to a reputable MBA program. The catch? The tuition was sky high, well into six figures. I hoped my parents might offer some support, especially since they fully funded Sarah's education. One night after family dinner, I sat them down, expecting a real conversation. Instead, it was all about Sarah's latest triumph at the family restaurant. I laid out my plan, explained the school, and how it would boost my career, then gently raised the tuition issue. Their faces looked like I'd asked them to donate a kidney. They flat out said they couldn't pay, which I understood. MBA programs are expensive, but their refusal to even co-sign a loan? That stung. I wasn't asking for a free ride, just a lifeline to avoid drowning in debt. Their excuse? We already paid for Sarah's education. Now we're focusing on our future. Worse, they were pouring their savings into expanding the family restaurant. I couldn't believe it. So you could fund Sarah's entire degree, but you can't even co-sign for me? I asked, trying to stay calm. My mom replied, Sarah's education was an investment in the family business. Your MBA is just for you, isn't it? Just for me. As if I wasn't their daughter, as if my success didn't matter. I was stunned. My parents were throwing up roadblocks, but I wasn't about to let this opportunity slip away. They'd spend lavishly on Sarah, but pinch pennies for me. With no other options, I turned to my Aunt Margaret, my dad's older sister. She's a successful neurosurgeon, far more accomplished than my parents, and always kind to me. There's always been tension between her and my parents at family gatherings. They'd act polite, but I could sense the resentment of her success, especially my dad, who hated being outshone. I hesitated to involve her, but I was desperate. I called her, explained my parents' refusal, and how much this MBA meant to me. Without a second thought, she said, "Of course I'll help. Why didn't you come to me sooner? I've always seen your potential." I was overwhelmed with gratitude, but worried about my dad's reaction. He'd lose it if he knew I'd gone to his sister for money behind his back. I begged Aunt Margaret to keep it quiet, and she agreed, understanding the messy family dynamics. For a while, things went smoothly. My tuition was covered, and I was gearing up for MBA school, feeling both nervous and hopeful. I thought I was in the clear, like I was finally getting a win. Then Sarah ruined everything. I still don't know how she found out I'd asked Aunt Margaret for help. Maybe she snooped through my emails or overheard a call. But as a family's golden child, she couldn't let it go. She had to turn it into a dramatic showdown. One evening, after a long day at work, I came home excited to share news about my MBA orientation. But the moment I stepped inside, the house felt off, silent, heavy with tension. In the living room, All my belongings, books, clothes, even my bedding, were packed into boxes. It was like the house was purging me. Sarah stood smirking in the corner, while my parents sat on the couch, their faces a mix of anger and disappointment. It felt like I'd walked into a twisted intervention. My dad didn't hold back. "Explain this," he snapped, throwing a stack of papers at me. My hand shook as I picked them up, confused. Then I realized Sarah had gone full villain. She'd fabricated emails between me and Aunt Margaret, making it look like I betrayed the family by trading restaurant secrets, recipes, supplier info, finances, for tuition money. I didn't even have access to that information, but Sarah did. She'd found real emails on my laptop and doctored them with Photoshop or something, painting me as a family traitor. I was floored. "This isn't real." I stammered. "These emails are fake. I'd never do this." But my parents wouldn't listen. My mom was crying. My dad was red with rage, shouting, "We trusted you and you stabbed us in the back." They believed Sarah without question, as always. It was like I'd become invisible. All my years of being a good daughter, working hard, staying out of trouble, erased. I knew then I'd always be second best in their eyes, always doubted. My dad's voice was ice cold. "You need to leave. We won't have a traitor in this house." I begged him to reconsider, explaining how Aunt Margaret was just helping me, like they'd helped Sarah. They didn't care. They called me a traitor and shut me out. Sarah just stood there, her smug look screaming victory. She'd won. Her rival sister was finally gone. With just a few boxes and clothes on my back, I left. Neighbors peeked out their windows as I loaded my car, probably curious about the drama. I felt utterly alone, betrayed, and humiliated. In my car, I called Aunt Margaret, sobbing so hard I could barely speak. Without hesitation, she told me to come to her place immediately. I don't know how I'd have survived without her. I'm now living with Aunt Margaret, who offered me a home and reaffirmed her support for my MBA. She's been my rock. But I can't shake that night. Sarah's smug grin, my parents glaring at me like I was a criminal, my life packed away. I'm lost, Reddit. Part of me wants to fight back and prove Sarah lied. Surely I could find evidence those emails were fake. But another part wants to cut ties forever. Why fight for people so quick to believe the worst of me? How do I process this betrayal when my own family discarded me? How do I move forward? My MBA program starts soon and I should be excited, but I'm wrestling with this emotional wreckage. I keep replaying everything, wondering if I miss signs. Was Sarah always this manipulative? Were my parents always so ready to abandon me? How can I trust anyone after this? Aunt Margaret urges me to focus on opportunities my MBA will bring, but it's hard to see past the pain and anger. She says success is the best revenge. I'd love your advice, Reddit. How do I rebuild when my own sister went this far to hurt me? How do I cope with this damage and engage with my MBA professors and classmates when I feel like I'm sinking? Please, throw me a lifeline. Update 1. It's been 3 years, Reddit, since I shared how my family ousted me. A lot has changed, and I want to update you. I completed my MBA, and it transformed me. I started in a whirlwind of emotional chaos, but channeled it into my studies. I graduated top of my class. Not easy, but I did it. The insecure girl who always felt lesser is gone, replaced by a confident woman who owns her worth. I landed a job at a top consulting firm, and I love it, though it's demanding. For the first time, I'm in a place where my skills and hard work are valued. No more living in anyone's shadow. Aunt Margaret has been my anchor, not just giving me a place to stay, but becoming the family I never had. We have weekly dinners, talking about everything from her fascinating medical cases to my latest work projects. I've learned so much from her about standing up for myself and valuing my worth. I went 3 years without contact from Sarah or my parents. No calls, texts, or emails. It hurt at first, but over time, I realized their absence let me grow in ways I couldn't have otherwise. I've built a life I'm proud of, free from constant comparisons and the need for approval. But life throws curveballs. Last Saturday, just when I thought I had it all figured out, Sarah showed up at my door. I barely recognized her. Gone was the polished, superior air, She wore a worn sweater and jeans, with dark circles under her eyes and messy hair. She looked defeated. "Can we talk?" she asked softly. Curiosity won over my urge to slam the door. I let her in. She fidgeted on my couch before blurting, "I need your help. The restaurant's in trouble. Serious trouble." She explained the family business was on the brink of bankruptcy. My parents' big expansion flopped, and they were drowning in debt from overextending and taking out huge loans. Her voice cracked as she said, "Dad's talking about bankruptcy. Mom's a mess, and I don't know what to do." I felt a twisted mix of emotions. Part smug satisfaction, wasn't this justice? Part something close to pity, but not quite. "Why tell me this?" I asked, "What do you want me to do?" Her eyes screamed desperation. "You're doing so well at your job with your MBA. Maybe you could help give advice or—" She trailed off, but I knew she meant money. The irony was thick. The golden child asking the black sheep for a bailout. Keeping my voice steady, I said, "Let me get this straight. After everything, 3 years of silence, you show up asking for help?" Sarah looked ashamed, mumbling, "I know I messed up. I was jealous. You were always so smart and capable. I lost it when I heard Aunt Margaret was helping you. I'm sorry." An apology after 3 years? It fell hollow. "Sorry doesn't fix it, Sarah," I said. "You have no idea what I went through because of you." Her eyes filled with tears. "I know, but we're still family, right? Family helps each other. Just think about it." Family, that word hit hard. Were we still family after all this? I told her I needed time to think. She left her number and walked out, looking defeated. Now I'm torn, Reddit. I've worked hard to build this new life, free from family drama, comparisons, and feelings of inadequacy. Do I really want to dive back into that mess? Yet, a small part of me cares. Thinking about my parents facing bankruptcy stirs something. Not pity, but not indifference either. Part of me sees this as a chance to show them what they lost when they cast me out, to prove I'm not the failure they thought. But is it worth it after how they treated me? Do I owe them anything? Even if I help, would things change? Or would I still be the lesser daughter? I've been mulling it over, but I'm stuck. Part of me wants to step in, help them out, maybe rebuild our relationship on fairer terms. But another part screams to walk away. I'm still healing from the deep wounds they caused. Would I really want to risk that pain again? Aunt Margaret, as always, has been supportive, saying she'll back me either way, but warning. Sometimes helping others means burning yourself out. Don't set yourself on fire to keep them warm. My co-workers have noticed I'm distracted. I haven't shared details, but one said, sometimes the most professional thing is keeping your personal life separate from work. That stuck with me. My MBA classes on crisis management and turnarounds keep popping into my head. I could probably help with a strategy. But should I? Am I responsible? Is Sarah's apology enough? Or is this another scheme? Can I trust she's truly sorry? I'm also worried about my own financial stability. I'm doing well, but I'm not swimming in cash. Helping could risk my own goals. One thing's clear. Whatever I decide, it'll be on my terms. I'm no longer that scared, insecure girl. I'm a strong, accomplished woman who knows her worth. What do you think, Reddit? Should I prioritize my well-being and let my family face their consequences, or help them and risk getting hurt again? I'd appreciate an outside perspective. Update 2. I'm back, Reddit, and things have taken a wild turn since my last update. I can't believe I'm writing again so soon. Remember my dilemma about helping my family with their restaurant mess? The universe threw me another bombshell. A week after Sarah's visit, my parents showed up at my workplace. Yes, my office. They tracked down where I work and appeared in the lobby one afternoon. Talk about a shock to the system. My assistant buzzed me during a meeting, saying 2 people wanted to see me. My heart sank when she described them. Feeling like I was marching to my doom, I excused myself and headed to the lobby. There were my parents, looking older and more worn than I remembered. Dad's shoulders slumped, Mom's hair fully gray. For a moment, we just stared, the weight of 3 silent years between us. Dad finally spoke, his voice rough but oddly subdued. We need to talk. Not one this drama at work. I took them to a nearby coffee shop. We sat with our drinks in tense silence. I wasn't going to make this easy for them. Mom spoke first, her voice shaky. We were wrong. We shouldn't have kicked you out. We should have listened. We're so sorry. I'd imagined this moment countless times over 3 years, but now it felt empty, no relief, no joy, just a hollow void. Dad added, "Come back home. We can get through this tough time as a family." I sipped my coffee to buy time. Why now? I asked, why after 3 years of nothing? They exchanged a look, and as they explained, their desperation became clear. The restaurant wasn't just struggling. It was a disaster. Beyond overextending on the expansion, they cut corners and broken laws to stay afloat. Tax evasion, health code violations, shady supplier deals. They faced not just bankruptcy, but potential criminal charges. Dad's voice was barely a whisper. "We need your help, your business expertise, your connections. You could save us." I sat there, stunned. The parents who believed the worst of me, kicked me out, and favored Sarah my whole life now saw me as their lifeline. "Let me get this straight," I said, struggling to stay calm. "You threw me out on false accusations, ignored me for 3 years, and now you want to bail you out of your illegal mess?" Mom reached for my hand, tears in her eyes, but I pulled back. "We know we don't deserve your help," she said, "but we're still family. We're lost. Please." That word, family, hit again. But looking at them, I realized they were my family anymore. Aunt Margaret, who'd stood by me, was my family. My work friends and MBA classmates, who valued me, were my family. I took a deep breath and said, "I'm sorry, but I can't help you. You're not just asking for money. You're asking me to risk everything I built, my career, my principles. I can't do that." Their shocked faces were almost comical. They clearly didn't expect a no. Dad's face reddened with anger. "After all we've done for you." I cut him off. "What have you done?" "Denied me support for my education while funding Sarah's? Kicked me out on lies? Favored her my whole life." Mom was sobbing now. "Please, we'll lose everything." A pang of guilt hit me, but I remembered the last 3 years, the pain, the growth, the triumphs I'd earned alone. I stood and said, "I'm sorry you're in this mess, but it's a consequence of your choices. I can't save you." Dad shouted as I turned to leave, "We'll be ruined." I paused and faced them. "I want you to take responsibility for what you did. I want you to see what you lost when you threw me out. But mostly, I want to be free of your drama and manipulation." I walked out, leaving them behind. On the street, I felt a weight lift. I'd chosen myself, set my boundaries, and faced them head on. But the story doesn't end there. After reflecting on that confrontation, I realized walking away was enough. My parents' actions were illegal, and if they continued, others could get hurt. I made a tough call. I reported their restaurant's illegal activities to the authorities, the police, the IRS, and the health department. It wasn't easy, but it was right. The fallout was swift and harsh. Sarah called, screaming and crying, accusing me of destroying the family. My parents left voicemails, alternating between begging for help and threatening lawsuits. But I held firm. I told the authorities what I knew, making it clear I wasn't involved in their crimes. Aunt Margaret supported me through the tough weeks, assuring me I was doing the right thing. The investigation's ongoing, but the restaurant's been shut down for a full audit. Sarah and my parents face serious legal consequences. It's not a happy ending, but it's a just one. As for me, I'm doing okay, better than okay. There's closure now. The toxic family dynamics that held me back are gone. I have a thriving career, even getting approached for a potential promotion. My co-workers have been supportive, making work feel like a true home. Aunt Margaret and I are closer than ever, planning a trip together once things settle. A bright spot to look forward to. It hasn't been easy. I sometimes question my choices and feel guilt, but reflecting on the pain they caused, the years of manipulation and favoritism, I know I did the right thing. 3 years ago, I was lost and alone after being thrown out. Now, I'm independent, successful, surrounded by people who care, and free from my family's toxic grip. Some might hope for a warm family reunion, but this is my story, and I'm proud of my growth. If you're dealing with toxic family or hard choices, Know you have the right to put yourself first and set boundaries. Sometimes, the family you choose matters more than the one you're born into. Thank you, Reddit, for your support on this journey. It's meant the world. Here's to new beginnings and crafting our own happiness. Thanks for reading. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and hit the notification bell for more gripping real-life stories unfolding around you.